It is a curious reality of humankind that a person can be supremely confident and yet entirely wrong. The dictionary defines confidence thus: certitude, assurance. He described the situation with such confidence that the audience believed him completely. How can we be confident about the truth? My topic today is the living compass of kindness and compassionate love. It's based on the first essay of a book that I've written of the same name. You can read more about that book at worldcommunitypress.com. Humans resonate with the desire for meaning. It's common for young people to want to help the world, to be inspired to do something for the sake of others. I know that when I was in my 20s, I wanted to change the world. It seems to be the default setting for many young people, and that's a wonderful thing. It's an interesting phenomenon, however, that in our search for a way to change the world and to make the world a better place, especially among young people, it's possible to find a person, a leader, or a group that has so much confidence in what he or she or they believe that we become very attracted to their viewpoint. Not necessarily because we know that it's true, but because they have confidence in their brand of truth. We see it today in politics. Both sides of the political aisle are incredibly confident about what they believe. And when you have a young person, for example, developing their worldview, it's really possible to fall under the sway of the confidence of others. We may find later that what we thought was true wasn't. It's something that all of us may go through at certain times where we change our opinions, we change our views, especially as we grow decade by decade. The confidence that we felt as we followed those groups or leaders or individuals who had a stronger sense of things than we did could be compared to the confidence of a barnacle riding the back of a gray whale. It wasn't really the barnacle's confidence, but it was the confidence of the gray whale that led us along as that so-called barnacle. It's not a bad thing necessarily. We're all developing, we all need to grow, we all need to search for meaning and search for truth. Frankly, that search for meaning never really stops. We all need to develop our vision about the world and our sense of value, our sense of meaning. It's an ongoing process. But we don't want to be a barnacle riding the back of a gray whale. We don't want to base our confidence simply on the confidence of others. We often think that we know a great deal, especially when we're young, but then the longer we search for truth, the longer we search for meaning, sometimes we realize that we didn't know as much as we thought we did back then when we were young. And even now, we don't necessarily know as much as we think we do. One test that I give myself is to think, what will I think about my knowledge or my scope of knowledge that I have now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? I may think, oh, was I ignorant? The 18th century British poet William Cowper wrote in Winter Walk at Noon, "Knowledge is proud that he has learned so much. Wisdom is humble that he knows no more." How can we know what is true? Deepak Chopra wrote in his book, How to Know God, The Soul's Journey into the Mystery of Mysteries. The boundaries of belief are true event horizons because the mind can't go beyond them, even though to an outsider the boundaries don't exist. A fundamentalist Christian may be unable to conceive of divorce without believing that he will be thrown outside God's grace, just as an Orthodox Jew would find it inconceivable to break kosher laws, or a Muslim to allow his wife to walk outside with her face uncovered. Dr. Chopra then stated, "In truth, you are projecting all boundaries. This becomes obvious when you see that other people have boundaries totally different from yours." I believe that we can rise above the boundaries of belief by comparing what we believe to the virtues that are common to all humans. St. Paul wrote in his epistle to the Galatians, chapter 5, verses 22-23, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control." If we compare what we believe to those virtues of goodness, then we can ask ourselves, well, I believe X. Does it match the virtues in any way? Does it support the virtues? Does it promote the virtues? Is it a belief that fosters the virtues and actually lives up to the virtues? In many cases, we might find, no, that belief is not a good belief because it doesn't match the virtues. We can also compare our beliefs to their results. A pernicious belief will produce a pernicious result. If we believe in hatred or violence or racism or totalitarianism, if we believe in restricting the freedoms of others, then those beliefs will produce results in the physical world. Actions will flow from them, and they will not be good actions. The virtues of love and compassion are universally recognized as beliefs that are good for humankind. They produce good things. Universal virtues are both the foundation of morality and the fruit of moral action. Love and compassion are two beliefs that cut through the boundaries of belief and produce goodness for all concerned. They act as guideposts in a world that is overwhelmed with a plethora of information and competing beliefs, competing opinions. People say that the details are important, but sometimes they get lost in the details. Let's step back and look at each other as human beings who share common virtues, including the virtues of love and compassion. The 20th century philosopher and avowed atheist Eric Hoffer wrote this about compassion. "Compassion is the antitoxin of the soul. Where there is compassion, even the most poisonous impulses remain relatively harmless." His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, wrote in his book Ethics for the New Millennium, "Thus we can reject everything else, religion, ideology, all received wisdom, but we cannot escape the necessity of love and compassion. Our own heart, our own mind is the temple. The doctrine is compassion, love for others and respect for their rights and dignity, no matter who or what they are. Ultimately, these are all we need." Compassion requires sympathy and empathy for others. We need to go deep into the situation of others and see what they're all about, rather than just talk on the surface and say, well, you don't believe what I believe. You must be bad. You must be wrong. No, we're all human beings. We share the common virtues of love and kindness, compassion, beauty, a desire for goodness. We share those things. If we go into the situation in heart and mind and thoughts of the other person, we'll be surprised perhaps at the goodness that we find, even in that person that we thought was our enemy. People are suffering more than we know, and that produces sympathy when we find out. It produces empathy because we also have suffered. There are so many souls with unspent desires. There are so many souls aching to fulfill unarticulated dreams. One day I was flying into New York City and I flew over Queens and I looked down at the houses below me, and all of a sudden I felt this wave of empathy for the people living in those tiny little houses far below. And I thought of all the people living there with so much stress in their lives, economic stress, marital stress, family stress, you name it. There is so much pain and stress in the world. And when we think about that, when we try to feel the reality of that, as I flew over New York City, I thought, people need love. They just need love. They just need to be embraced. Embracing the heart of the other person is the way to solve the conflicts that we're seeing in the world today. To me, empathy toward others is a proof of God's existence. And that's why I want to set my compass to the North Star of God's kind and compassionate love and just go for it with confidence in this living compass that springs from the source of all life. And with that living compass, I will have confidence in my understanding of truth and my ability to help the world and love others. And that is a wonderful thing. To me, I believe that we can all have confidence in the living compass of kindness and compassionate love. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, leave a comment on the YouTube channel page, select like on the button underneath the video, tell your friends about this video if you like it. And for now, thank you.